Good morning. Today's topic is inversion and eversion of foot. Before that, we must know features of some joints of the foot. The skeleton of the foot includes some intertarsal joints, tarso-metatarsal joints, intermetatarsal joints, metatarsophalangeal joints and interphalangeal joints. Among the major intertarsal joints, three joints are very important. One is the subtalar joint or posterior talocalcaneal joint. This is the subtalar joint. This is the subtalar joint or posterior talocalcaneal joint. Talocalcaneonavicular joint. Talocalcaneonavicular joint. Talocalcaneonavicular joint. This is the talocalcaneonavicular joint. And calcaneocuboid joint. This is the calcaneocuboid joint. The calcaneocuboid joint. Mid-tarsal joint or transverse tarsal joint includes these two joints, that is talocalcaneonavicular joint and calcaneocuboid joint. Now come to individual joints. Subtalar joint. It is a plain type of synovial joint. This joint is formed between concave articular area of the lower surface of the talus and convex articular surface of the middle third of the upper surface of the calcaneus bone. Joints includes capsular ligament, medial and lateral talocalcaneal ligaments and interosseous talocalcaneal ligament. This is a strong ligament, occupies the sinus tarsi. It extends from the sulcus talli to sulcus calcaneae. Another important ligament is the cervical ligament. The cervical ligament extends from the upper surface of the calcaneus up to the lateral aspect of the neck of the talus bone. This is a cervical ligament. Next joint is the talocalcaneonavicular joint. This joint is a restricted ball and socket type of synovial joint. Here ball is represented by the head of the talus. This is the head of the talus. And socket is represented by three structures. Posterior articular surface of the navicular bone, upper surface of the spring ligament and sustentaculum talli. This joint is connected by some ligaments. Capsular ligament, talonavicular ligament and spring ligament. Talonavicular ligament extends from the dorsal aspect of the navicular bone up to the neck of the talus. This spring ligament is very important for examination. Frequently asked as a short note. The spring ligament is also known as the plantar calcaneonavicular ligament. This ligament extends from the plantar aspect of the navicular bone up to the sustentaculum talli. This is a spring ligament. This violet is spring ligament. This spring ligament extends from the plantar aspect of the navicular bone up to the sustentaculum talli. Medially, it blends with the superficial part of the deltoid ligament. Laterally, it blends with the short plantar ligament. This yellow is the short plantar ligament. While foot is on the ground, this ligament is stretched to resist the downward displacement of the head of the talus. When foot is off the ground, this ligament comes to its original position. That's why it is known as the spring ligament, but it is misnomer because this ligament is not composed of elastic tissues. Permanent stretching of the spring ligament leads to a condition known as the flat foot. Next joint is the calcaneal cuboid joint. This joint is an example of saddle variety of synovial joint. It is formed between the posterior surface of the cuboid and anterior surface of the calcaneus. The articular surfaces are concavo-convex and reciprocally curved. Ligaments of this joint include capsular ligaments, short and long plantar ligaments. To understand the attachments of these ligaments, you must know some bony landmarks. The plantar aspect of the calcaneus is rough and presents three tubercles: anterior tubercles, medial and lateral tubercles. Anterior tubercles, medial and lateral tubercles. When foot strikes the ground, it touches the medial tubercle. In the plantar aspect of the cuboid bone, there is oblique ridge. This oblique ridge divides the plantar surface of the cuboid bone into anterior and posterior parts. The short plantar ligament extends from the plantar aspect of the cuboid bone behind the oblique ridge. This is the oblique ridge, this is the cuboid bone, and up to the plantar aspect of the calcaneus in front of the anterior tubercle. This is the extent of the short plantar ligament. Long plantar ligament extends from the plantar aspect of the cuboid bone in front of the oblique ridge and up to a triangular area bounded by the three tubercles. This is the attachment of the long plantar ligament, and this long plantar ligament is the longest and strongest tarsal ligament. Now these two components with separate joint cavities forms the mid-tarsal joint, and these two joints are connected by bifurcated ligament. The Y-shaped ligament attached, the stem is attached to the anterior upper surface of the anterior 1/3 of the calcaneus. Its medial limb is attached to the dorsolateral aspect of the navicular bone as calcaneo-navicular ligament, and its lateral limb attached to the dorsomedial aspect of the cuboid bone as calcaneo-cuboid ligament. These are all about the structures. Now come to the function. Inversion and eversion are complex movements. Each movement consists of two components like adduction supination or abduction pronation, and both the movements takes place in mid-tarsal and subtalar joints. During inversion, the medial margin of the foot raised above the ground. So, the plantar aspect of the foot, the sole of the foot, looks downwards and medially. Whole part of the foot undergoes adduction at mid-tarsal joint, followed by lateral rotation or supination as subtalar joint. So one movement takes place in mid-tarsal joint and this second part as subtalar joint. The range of movement is 30 degrees, and during inversion this cervical ligament becomes taut. Tibialis anterior and tibialis posterior are principal muscles of inversion, whereas flexor hallucis longus, flexor digitorum longus are accessory muscles. This inversion is associated with the plantar flexion at ankle joint. Similarly, in eversion, the lateral margin of the foot is raised above the ground. So, plantar aspect of the foot is directed downwards and laterally. The forepart of the foot undergoes abduction at metatarsal joint, followed by medial rotation and pronation, or pronation at subtarsal joint. Range of movement is 20 degree, and here the interosseous talocalcanea ligament becomes taut. Peroneus longus and peroneus brevis are principal muscles, and peroneus tarsus acts as accessory muscle of eversion. And this eversion is associated with dorsiflexion and ankle joints. Now come to the axis of movement. See, the articular surface of the subtalar joint and talocalcaneal navicular joints are curved in opposite directions, and center of the curvatures is joined by a line, and this line represents the axis of movement, and this axis of movement passes upwards, forwards and medially, extends from heel end of the calcaneus, passes to the sinus tarsi and emerges from the dorsomedial aspect of the neck of the talus. Now applied part is the ankle sprains. Excessive stretching or tearing of the ligaments of the ankle joint leads to ankle sprains. Eversion sprain and inversion sprain. Inversion sprains are very common. Inversion sprain, the sprain during inversion. And inversion usually involves the stretching of the anterior and posterior tibiofibular ligament and calcaneofibular ligament. Among these, anterior tibiofibular ligament is commonly torn. Whereas eversion injury is less common. In that case, deltoid, there is no tear in the deltoid ligament, but it is often associated with the avulsion fracture of the medial malleolus. That's all about inversion and eversion class. Thank you.